So today I have quite a few things I kind of want to talk about. I haven't really made a video like this in a while, mostly due to the fact that there really hasn't been a week where there's been multiple things to talk about. And sorry if I sound weird, I am still trying to get better. I'm still kind of sick, so sorry if I sound weird. But, the first thing I'm going to talk about, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to ask me this question throughout the week, so might as well just address it now. Yesterday, on Sunday, it came out that Patrick Peterson, all-pro corner for the Cardinals, is on the trade block. Now, I know some people are going to ask me, should we trade for Patrick Peterson? And the answer to that, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Without a doubt, if Patrick Peterson is available, how it's rumored, you go get him, man. I mean, and I understand some people are worried about the cap space and all that stuff, but trust me, the Texans have more than enough cap space to re-sign Tyrann Mathieu, re-sign Jadeveon Clowney, eat up the cap space that we take for getting Pat Pete, re-sign Kareem Jackson, sign a free agent or two. The Texans have money, man. They have money to spend. Now, Patrick Peterson, he's 28 years old. He can play anything he wants to play as far as man or zone, press, or whatever. He's athletic enough to keep up with the speedy wide receivers. He can shut down the bigger wide receivers. Pat Pete is just a lockdown corner, man. You could have him shadow the number one receiver for opposing teams and he'll get the job done. I mean, you have to go get him if he's available. He's also under contract until 2020. In 2018, he counts for 14 mil against the cap. In 2019, 11 mil. In 2020, 13 mil. Now, these aren't exact numbers, but I kind of just rounded them up to make it simpler. And again, he's played with Tyrann Mathieu in Arizona, so the fact that Tyrann Mathieu is here would probably make him feel more comfortable here early on if we do choose to get him. And if we do get him, then all of a sudden, you got Pat Pete, and maybe Tyrann Mathieu decides to stay because now you got his buddy Pat Pete from Arizona. So I think it's straight up a win-win for the Texans. You get Tyrann Mathieu and Patrick Peterson. But now the real question. How much? How much do the Texans have to give up to get Patrick Peterson? Honestly, a lot of people seem to think it's simple. You just call him up and be like, hey man, I'll give you this for that. No, it takes some negotiation. And the way I would start off these negotiations is I would first offer a third-round pick. Is Patrick Peterson better than a third-round pick? Obviously, but, sometimes teams will trade good players for pretty much a bag of chips. So you offer that third-round pick. If they decline it, then okay, that doesn't matter because you know what? That third-round pick is what gets the ball rolling in the negotiations. If they don't accept the third-round pick, then I'd offer a second-round pick. And I think, honestly, personally, I think they'd take a second-round pick, without a doubt. I think they would definitely take a second-round pick for Pat Pete. I think that's enough to get it done. But if for whatever reason it doesn't, I offer a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick in exchange for Patrick Peterson and their fifth-round pick. So we're pretty much trading a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick for Pat Pete and a fifth-round pick, which that right there would probably be my last offer. I might just go a second and a fourth for Pat Pete without taking the fifth, and hopefully that's enough. But personally, I am not trading a first-round pick for Pat Pete. Pat Pete's a hell of a player, don't get me wrong, but I think we need that first-round pick way more than we need Pat Pete, even though we really need a corner like Pat Pete. I think it's important to draft an offensive lineman next year, because you guys saw that Bills game. Or, you know, if they choose to take a young corner like, say, a Greedy Williams, then I feel like, you know, we'd be in a good spot. But I would not trade a first-round pick for Pat Pete. Now, do I think the Texans actually do it? Honestly, dude, no, I don't. But, you know, it's fun to pretend sometimes. Okay, anyways, the next thing I want to talk about is yesterday on Sunday, the AFC South hit the reset button. Why? Well, we got the Texans sitting at 3-3. We got the Titans now also sitting at 3-3. And the Jaguars also sitting at 3-3. So technically all three teams are tied for first in the division. Well, the Titans are technically number 1, the Texans are 2, the Jaguars are 3. But, you know, they're tied, if we're being real, because all these three teams haven't played each other twice yet. So it's still tied as of right now. And that's good for the Texans, because obviously they had that terrible 0-3 start. And it's good that now they have a chance to, you know, make something of their season. You know, like I said in my Bills-Texans recap video, maybe the Texans somehow get their offense fixed down the line. I know a lot of people are mad that the Texans, not that they're 3-3, but the way they're 3-3, you know, like the way they've won games. They're mad at it, and, you know, I get it. But, you know, maybe down the line they get it fixed, and, you know, the fact that we're 3-3 now pushes them into the playoffs, as opposed to being 0-6 and then missing out on the playoffs later on if you do get everything fixed. But despite all these three teams being 3-3, they all got there pretty differently. For example, we already know the Texans started off 0-3, losing terribly to terrible teams, and now they're winning terribly against terrible teams to get to 3-3. He had the Jaguars start off pretty hot, 3-1. They even had a pretty big win against the Patriots week 2, I believe. Now, in week 5 and 6, the Jaguars got blown out by the Chiefs and the Cowboys. So, the Jaguars started off hot. Now, not so hot. The Titans, on the other hand, they've pretty much been like the Texans. When they've won ugly. And when they've lost pretty ugly. Especially last week versus Baltimore, they got shut out. That's terrible. So, I don't know, man. All three of these teams have their issues. In my opinion, it's going to be a 2-team race between Jacksonville and Houston. I don't think the Titans are that good of a team. And the Colts, well, they're 1-5. I mean, come on. Everyone with a brain expected the Colts to be bad. So, I mean, there's not really much to talk about there. Now, the last thing I really want to talk about is the way the Texans have been winning. And I know a lot of people don't like it, and I'm not going to lie, I hate it too. But is the way that the Texans are winning, is it sustainable? And I'm going to be honest, guys, it's a yes and no, because yes, they can still keep winning games the way that they're winning, but, you know, it always happens to a team like this. You know, 2016, the Texans, they were winning like this. They were winning some ugly games that ended up going 9-7. Last year, 2017, you know what team was winning like these Texans? The Titans. They were winning ugly games. They were getting blown out against good opponents. And, you know, eventually, what happened to both these teams? Eventually, the wheels fall off. The bottom comes out from underneath, and, you know, you end up doing bad. And so, yes, the Texans can technically keep winning games like this, but eventually, it's going to stop. The Texans, I believe, in 2016, they did good in one-score games. They went, I forgot the exact record, but they had a positive record while going in one-possession games. This year, The Texans are technically 3-3 in one possession games, and I say technically because that Giants game wasn't as close as the scoreboard indicates. Texans were just straight up getting beat that game. So I do think it's kind of sustainable the way they're winning, but eventually, whether it's down the line in the regular season or if it's in the playoffs, it's gonna stop. The wheels will fall off, and the Texans are gonna be what they are, a mediocre team. Unless, obviously they get their issues fixed out. I mean, I don't know if they will, but you just never know with these Texans, man. Like, they're so unpredictable. Just when you think you have them figured out, and, they're sitting here at 3-3 when realistically they should be 5-1, and they could be 0-6, like, you never know with this team. So anyways, guys, that's all I already have for you guys today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.